Hello everyone, I'm Kadu. I hope you missed me. If you didn't, I'm kind of disappointed, but not to do. No problem. Today I want to do something that I haven't done before on this channel. That is a Just Dance 2020 review. Yay! So of course I wrote some notes, and there is a note for the future installments. So there are suggestions as well, not just criticizing. And I bring some friends as well. There is the jelly, the reindeer, and the panda. Say hi to everyone. They really like to talk. So before during the video, I just want to explain that I picked some aspects of the game that I thought would be interesting to evaluate. I didn't evaluate the Just Dance Kids mode because I haven't played yet, but probably I'll do some sort of video maybe someday. And I did the scoring based on the stars on the game. So for each aspect of the game, I gave a score from 0 to 7, like 0 to max star. I evaluated the scoring system based on the Xbox One version of the game for Kinect. Most of the features doesn't change unless on Wii, because Wii is has like a lot of the main features of the game. But if you're playing on PlayStation or on Switch, you won't see so much differences from each version, unless when it comes to scoring. So I won't be evaluating all this. I will be focusing only on Kinect scoring. So just we are on the same page. But I really hope you find this useful. And before even started, what's your thoughts on the Just Dance 2020? Did you like it? Did you didn't like it? I really want to see your opinions in the comments below. First thing, let's talk about the track list of the game. So the track list is always something that I always feel worried about, because I think for any rhythm game, the track lists can help you make a really good edition or a bad edition, depending on how you pick the songs. Some of the positive aspects I think this year is that, first of all, they didn't focus that much on pop, in my opinion. Not saying that pop is a bad genre, but I think for rhythm games, you really need to mix things, and you can't rely just on what is popular on and only on pop music, because people can get tired, because I think people always get tired of pop music kind of easily. Not focusing only on pop is a good thing. Also, I see more styles coming back, like dubstep. I was missing dubstep. Also, I met dubstep because of Just Dance. Also, the majority of the songs they picked, the popular songs, they have a high popularity even nowadays. Like, we still see people interested on Old Town Road, on Bad Guy, on. I think there are people who still listen to I Like It. I think they had a better luck than, for example, when they picked Despacito, that it had a kind of a short period of people think that was popular, and then they lose interest on it. I think they are putting more temporal icons. I'm calling the songs like Everybody or I'm the Best. They're songs that were released years ago, but even then, people, if you start playing the song, people are going to recognize it and want to play it. So I really liked when they bring old songs back, and I really kind of miss it. So, and I think it also fits on the cons for this list. So first of all, for the recent years, especially on Just Dance 2018 from further, they have been focusing too much on the latest songs releases, and not that it's a bad thing, but I think for a game that was supposed to have a 1 year longevity or even more, I think it would be better to also pick songs from previous decades, not only the 2010s, and I feel like they have been focusing too much on the mainstream audience, so they're not risking that much as they would risk, for example, in Just Dance 3, and have, I don't know, some songs that most people haven't heard about, or songs that at first doesn't seem like for just the game, but when you play it, it kind of feels right. But fit, but you know it. Okay, that was ah, that even the choreography is too good for that song. Think beat, but you know it, don't fit. Sorry, but sorry if people like it, but sorry. Also, I remember the previous years, like for example, Justin's Four had Time Warp, a song from the Rocky Horror. I forgot the whole name, the full name, but it was a really good song, and I kind of miss that. I kind of miss they picking some songs that may feel both off but perfect from the game, and I feel like they have been playing safe, and I think that they need to put more risk, and so at the end of the day, I feel the track list needs to find a balance between making a track list harmonic and diverse at the same time. And I think that is the main challenge for any rhythm game, like finding the kind of songs that fit for your game and they work perfectly with each other. Like like you're telling a whole story with the track list, but at the same time you feel like you don't feel like you're playing the same song again and again and again. And there were some previous installments that I would feel that, and I easily got tired of them. So my overall score is 4 stars for the track list. Let's talk about Babs, not the Mario 5 one. So something good is like they have been adding new stuff, like have been working with new techniques now, even for the coaches. Like you had motion capture coach, you had coach. They made the God is a Woman piece with using 3D printers. So it's really nice to see these small additions and details and stop motion coming back. That for me, so your background is really cute, and I really loved it. I really like also the different concepts and visuals for each song. Like you have something like God is a Woman more godlike and really how can I say it? Really experimental in a sense, but also you have sushi that would be more traditional just dance, but also interesting to watch. And it so goes on. And Maitu, I don't even need to describe it. For Maitu is like awesome to say. It was a really good surprise, Maitu, by the way. Also, the coaches feel more colorful. I feel like they have been making the contrast and brightness higher this year, the hue higher. I don't know if it is a good thing or a bad thing. And I remember when I watched the E3 previews, I was kind of annoyed by the amount of color, but nowadays I'm kind of used to it. However, I think a balance can be good, but I understand why they would put too much color. Also, the game was meant to be colorful and stuff. However, I feel like they have been focusing more on making the coaches more colorful than more realistic in terms of the fabric. You don't see too much texture as you would see for example just in 4 when they first start doing HD coaches. For example, they would see the fabric and the textures of the tissue. So I don't know. I think yeah, I'm kind of the middle ground with it. However, there were some backgrounds that felt empty comparing they had been trying to step up the game for the maps. So, for example, Le Bas Masqué, it's simple but feels kind of empty for such a jolly song. Everybody, I even thought for a moment that the within time the during the choreography they would add people in the background for the song because they feel so alone playing the 4 of them and with this empty saloon. I don't know. So, but in for the most songs, I felt really immersed in the world they created, and I really liked each world feels it's different. Also, I really like. Oh, I can't. I was supposed to say this later, but I really liked the work they did, even for the alternate versions, especially for the extremes with the kaleidoscope aspect for most of them. I think it was a nice touch. So my overall score for the maps, visuals, in general was a 6. Uh, yeah, superstar. Yeah, superstar. Yeah, superstar. Okay, let's talk about the classic choreographies right now. For some songs, I felt like they were adding something new in terms of movement. Like, um, I don't know how can I say it, but they it seems like they're trying to add new vocabularies in terms of dancing, because also at the end of the day dancing is complicated because most people think that, like, oh, you have a move like this in a song and a move like that in that song, so they are the same move, cancel the game, cancel the choreography. And if you see, when it comes to dancing, it's like when you write a text, two texts can have the same words, but the way they do the text is what matters. So I think that it comes down to execution. And the overall feeling that I had is like they were trying to do something new with some of the moves and some of the choreographies and stuff. I also liked the difficulty for some of the harder songs, like Bangarang is intense, is really requires high energy, and you can easily lose the amount of energy you felt from the beginning to the end. So it's quite a challenge. I really like that. And most of the choreographies really feel fun to play, even some that I would feel like when I watch the previews, but when I would try, I would feel they were nice. However, I feel like they have been focusing too much on repetition. So I'm not saying, oh, repetition is bad and cancel repetition. No, especially because on the chorus you expect to see repetition, between the verses you expect to see some repetition. But for songs like Maitu, I see repetition even on the bridge, what I would consider the bridge. So you have some a few sequences of movement instead of, I don't know, also adding some small changes, like in com a altura they do, like in the second verse there are some moments they add some new moves to the dance, and I would like to see it more, because oh yeah, you're getting the moves, the person they try to do something most people can play, but also I think they need to also add some sort of challenging, or also add some layer of uncertainty. So you need to always pay attention to the coach, you know. And I think it also fits on the point, the main point I want to get here. It feels like they have been focusing too much on the casual just dance players, or the ones who are playing for the first time, and kind of not also putting details that the hardcore players would get and try to improve and try to pay attention, because I really like it when they try to do like a song that feels like simple and most people plays like it was a simple song, but when you start checking the details, you start to analyzing what the coach does. If you see a lot of details and you want to get the details, and some of the details are simpler to look than to do, and I kind of miss that, to be honest. Also, something that I kind of annoys me a little bit for the songs for more than one player. So the duos, the dance crew songs, especially those ones, the trios, I think it's a middle ground on it. But I feel like I miss those kind of songs having more interactivity, because for the most part, the dance crew songs and the duo songs feels more like you're dancing and the other players dancing as well, than actually you're dancing together. It's not like you rely on other players to dance and to do your part. It doesn't feel like a collaboration. I really, for example, in Dynamite from Just Dance 3, you are obliged to basically look at the person at your side, because there was a movie like your na 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 na. So you I miss that kind of eye to eye. The moments that people would mess up something, and okay, so everyone would mess up as well because they rely on the person. So it feels like too much. You're just playing and focusing on the part than actually playing together. And I really miss more interactivity on those songs. So my overall score for the classic rock choreographies is 4 stars. So let's talk about the alternate choreographies. The alternate and the extremes ones. So the alternate, most of them felt creative, so I can't complain about that. Also, I like the backgrounds, I like the visuals, both for extremes and also the other alternate versions as well. And as I said before, I like the pattern with the kaleidoscope effect for most of them. I think is a way to kind of make the extremes part of the same universe as the classic version, but at the same time having something more to add, nothing like they are too so apart from each other. About the extremes, I have kind of mixed thought about it because, in a way, because we have more extremes each year, now we had eight, nine if you consider Bad Guy. It's a good because each one of them can focus on something specific. So I think there's a really small chance you play the eight extremes and you won't find any of them interesting. At least one of them is gonna capture you. So and but also I think it can be better because being too specific on a choreography, on a kind of choreography, you can make one of them not as hard if the person kind of nails the technique. Because for example, Animals extreme, even though it's not my favorite extreme, it's hard for even for professional dancers because it mixes so many dancing styles. It's a mix. It's a mess basically. Is a mess that really makes up to the challenge. A scream and shout is, I think it kind of fits the same category, but in a way that I like the most. I think is it would be a great example of it because you have to kind of nail the technique. You also had to nail many things, especially the timing. You need to also listen to the song so many times to get all the details, so you can map the details to what the song is doing. Because not always they are just following the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 count. And I kind of feel like it's hard to do that when each one of the extremes is focusing on something. So for example, sushi, for those who know Vogue, would be kind of piece of cake. For those who doesn't know Vogue, that will be a challenge. And I feel like the fun part of doing extremes is make people challenge all their skill in maybe a few songs or even more songs. But I think they need to feel, the hardcore players need to feel challenged. And I don't know if they felt this way. So that's why I'm kind of torn if having more extremes is a good or a bad thing. But in general, I like most choreographies. I like most alternate versions in general. So my overall score will be 5 stars. Let's talk about the scoring system. Ubisoft, we need to talk. Just to try to advance sort of my opinion. For every song, you can get up to 13,000, 1,333, no, 333. I think it's problematic, but maybe I'll do explain more of on this in another video because probably I'll get too specific. I felt the scoring got easier on Kinect, so it can be good for newcomers, so they won't feel like they are messing everything up. But also, it can be bad if you see the Just Dance as a competitive game because Just Dance wants to be a sport. I know we know the Just Dance World Cup is on hiatus, but I imagine Ubisoft have plans for it to come back. So making the scoring easier makes trickier for you to get some of the points. And oh, but it can be interesting for to watch people because they can get tied easier. But I think the tie should come from the two players being at the top of their game and having to overcome the challenges of getting all perfect. That I think is more exciting. If the scoring too easy, it may feel like, how can I say it? If you basically playing is easily, you already got the song. So I think even in the long run, they make people feel like they already nailed a song. If even if you nail a song, for you can be getting the maximum score, or getting more than 13K. However, I feel like the extremes songs scoring may have improved, because for the X8 extremes, two, I didn't get Megastar the first time I played, so maybe it can be an improvement, but also can be bugs. I'm not sure. Overall, I really think like it would be great if the discovery system could have a really huge revamp, because especially if Ubisoft wants to still make Just Dance as a competitive game, it needs to be improved way, way, way better. So my overall score for the score system will be 1. Sorry, but just a side note, some people said they felt the scoring was better, but I don't think the scoring is more precise. They just made the calculation more general. No, more generals. No, more. They give you more points they would give in previous years, so that's why you don't feel like you're getting too much bugs. But I think that the bugs may still be there from what I've played. So yeah, so that's why I'm being a little bit harsh on the score system. So let's go to the All Star mode, and I'm probably going to receive a lot of hate for that, but I think I need to say it. Of course, first of all, the idea of having a mode to celebrate the 10th anniversary, a decade of releasing a game, is great on paper. I really like the concept of doing something to celebrate and to remember the previous games, especially because there are a lot of people who have been playing Just Dance recently but haven't tried the previous installments, or haven't played before, or maybe there are people who played since the first ones. I played Just Dance since the Just Dance 2, so the cinematic visuals feel really cute. The idea in general feels cute. However, I felt like they needed more time to think on the gameplay and how it would affect, because I'll use Just Dance Machine as a comparison. Just Dance Machine in general feels like the same. You're playing, you follow moves and getting a score, but instead of having the perfect, good, super, and whatever, you just get the energy for the move or not. But they also give a lot of concept and a lot of storytelling, so you understand why you're doing this, what makes the Just Dance machine different from the Just Dance mode in general. And I don't feel that with the All Star mode, because okay, you have each cinematic kind of introducing the world. The panda is traveling, but we don't know why the panda is there. We don't know why the panda is traveling. We kind of get a glimpse of each world, but we don't understand what each world mean, and they kind of don't try to explain what is happening. So in general, it feels more like I'm playing just as unlimited playlist. So in general, I feel like the concept is good, but it feels more like a playlist than actually feels like a mode. So I really felt like there was something missing. And okay, the point that kind of annoys me the most is that you had a song that was announced on E3. They used the song in the announcement presentation during E3, that is High Hopes. And suddenly, when the mode is announced, oh, you need to play the Just Dance All Star mode to unlock High Hopes. And I have a thing against announcing a song that is locked. So I think it would be greater if they did some sort of all you gotta do 2.0, or a exclusive song, or maybe even have a secret song or secret alternate version of High Hopes that would be unlocked after you played the All Star mode. than actually locking All Star mode. Of course, you can unlock it using a code, but I feel like it's kind of contradictory because you're saying, oh, you can play High Hopes in Just Dance 2020, but when you play it, oh, you need to play All Star mode first. If it was a alternate version, I would complain at all, but I felt. So my overall score to the All Star mode is 2. So please, guys, if you do another mode, like another try like the All Star mode, please put more thought on the storytelling aspect because I really felt I've missed it. I know people are boo on me, but I need to say I need to be the bad guy, right, Billy?
Duh.
Yeah. So let's talk about the interface, the UI and UX. I still a fan of the Just Dance 2019 way to navigate through songs. I really think it's efficient. I really like you can have a small glimpse of the song before playing it. I like also that each year they kind of decides, oh, you go into a minimalistic direction. So they changes all the elements they weren't as minimalistic as before. So the picto bar now has changed, and also I like the picto bar now because you can see it easier because we used to be just a white thing in bright backgrounds. You couldn't see the picto bar, and I know it sounds silly, but I use the picto bar to count when I need to start a song because they don't have the 1, 2, 3, 4 they used to have in the preview the first two games. I think yeah, just there's 1 and 2 they had the countdown. The interface in general is simple, it's functional. Just like just this idea that it's a simple game to play and you just need to get up and dance. However, I think because the game is getting more colorful each year, feels like it would be nice to have a HUD that would be not a HUD, sorry, but a menu that was more colorful, or maybe trying to add some customization in the menu as well. And also, I feel like the navigation feels a lot like a social media, but I don't see that much social media aspects. You know, like some people miss the leaderboards. Some people is to see the leaderboards. Some people miss to see some features. So it wouldn't be nice to have some features that, along with the interface, they could have this social media idea and remember and kind of remind you all the time that you're not playing alone. There are other players playing, and not in the just oh look at this player is scoring high scoring, yay! But also I don't know, maybe adding some statistics, some stats, some fun facts, or maybe like I don't know some I don't know, even like if I see the idea I just had now, like after you play a song there was a fun fact about the song, like oh the choreographer had to do the choreography in 3 minutes because they challenged him to do it. So, or maybe oh the costume was made of recycled material or something like that, adding some sort of connection with the fan base. We need that because even because for example the community managers, we don't see them speaking directly to the community as they used to do before. So I think if the game itself can do this communication to the players, it would be a good thing, especially for Just Dance. So, and also there are some features that are hidden, too much hidden, like the Just Dance TV. You need to go to specific places to see, and for a game that is social, that is for people to come together and play. I think this is a missed opportunity, you know. So my overall score would be 4 stars. And I think it's efficient. I think it's functional. I like the general interface, but I think some things can be better, can improve. So let's talk about features right now. When I'm talking about features, I'm talking about anything is featuring the game. Best definition ever, right? Right, guys? Yeah, I couldn't define better. Yeah. First of all, I like the idea of bringing the co-op modes back. Also, we had the after the update that screen with the with song suggestions after playing a game, and now it's not mandatory. You can turn off because in just Dance 2016 it was it's kind of was mandatory. You couldn't skip that screen, so I think it's a good thing. You can add some features that are optional, at least in Portuguese. The you can pick the gender of the dance card, so the titles that appear, they are personalized depending on the gender you picked. Maybe having some gender neutral options would be interesting. So maybe if someone identify themselves as non-binary, they can also can um, express themselves. Unlimited looks like it's working better than the previous tournaments. So I see a lot less people complaining, and I also from the amount of times I played on Unlimited feels like it running better. Also treating some exceptions, some errors and exceptions better than used to have that. I don't know. Unlimited would stop and then it would uh, put you make you go all the way to the first screen until you go back to the distance mode. Unlimited is not perfect, but feels like it's getting better within time. I'm not a fan of the new way to unlock the alternative versions, but the extremes you just need to get Megastar on song and you unlock it. Now for the other alternative versions you need to pay it 5 times, but it's still a bad improvement considering that the some of the alternates would be locked in the Gashapon machine. About the Gashapon machine, I think they are adding more usable content. Like now you receive titles, you receive the that skins for. Also, you also get avatars. So I think it's a good addition. Not a fan of the stickers, by the way, because you don't use them in any other part of the game. But that you stickers screen. But I think it's a better addition. I kind of miss the conceptual arts though, but that was my personal favorite. Most people didn't bother about that, so I understand why they were kicked out. But what to do? Can do can dream. A negative point is Warden's Floor didn't receive significant upgrades, at least visible upgrades. I kind of feel like they need to focus on more on the Warden's Floor and how they can improve it. See the things on Warden's Floor that works and what don't work, because I don't play on Wardens for often because I feel more like I'm competing for scores than actually playing with the community. So I really feel like the Wardens for needed improvement. And also, there are some people who are complaining that they're not putting extremes on Wardens for that mostly the same songs are being put. So please, Ubisoft, check the algorithm because doesn't seem is sorting that nice. I see a lot of players that miss heavy modes that you can, for example, send challenges for another player, like the challenges mode. Not even talk about video challenge. Video challenge people miss, but even if they put the challenge without the video, I think people would find it nice, as especially if you can't play with your friends, but you kind of feel like you're playing against other people. And as I said before, people miss the leaderboards. I also like the idea of adding modes that you feel like you're cooperating with other people and features like you feel like cooperating, but also there are players who miss the competitive aspect of comparing how well you're scoring and see how you can get better if other people are having trouble in a song or not. And of course, I think that the main issue that has been happening in Just Dance is that doesn't feel like there are new ways to play the game. Like for example, in Just Dance 2018 for the Switch, they put the Rumble Double mode that would there was some routines that you could feel see the HD Rumble working, and it was really nice. It was really cool. The Just Dance machine that became Just Dance Lab in the next installment. So I feel like even the game is trying to get more simpler. I feel they also need to experiment more. They need to also bring some things new to the table in the way you can play Just Dance, because especially because I kind of feel like Ubisoft has a story of putting modes in, kind of regret putting them, so they take them back. And if you're getting rid of some modes, fine, but also need to add some modes as well, some modes back. And I think if the team analyzed all the modes they have been putting on Just Dance, and they are not in the in Just Dance 2020, they would see some modes that even with some adjustments they could come back, and maybe even think on ideas of how they can add some new modes. So my overall score for the features is a 3. So can do editing here. By the way, when I talk about the adding new modes, I'm not saying like, oh, it's so easy to think about new modes, new ways to play Just Dance, but it would have been nice to see more of them, because, as I said before, Ubisoft put some modes and kind of regret putting them, so they take them back. But if I think most of the modes would keep intact in the game, or may would have they were would be improved, it wouldn't be an issue. But because there's so many modes that were added and then taken back, and even without further explanation, a lot of people miss them. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it would be nice to see more stability with the modes. Or, okay, if you're gonna take something back from the game, so at least please put something else in place. Let's go to the final countdown. Just kidding. Just for the final thoughts. So it seems like the team has been focusing on upgrading the visuals for just this 2020, and the maps, and trying to make the coaches more appealing, the visuals more appealing. What is not bad. I think a visual upgrade is always welcome, but I feel like they have been focusing more on approaching new players than actually maintaining the ones they have been playing, especially the hardcore ones. Because even though Just Dance was supposed to be a fun game, so you can play along with friends and family and stuff, there is also a competitive scene on it. And I feel like even the players have been playing since the first installments, and they like more the cooperative aspect than the competitive aspect. They have been left out to the mainstream audience that Just Dance can get. Also, I feel like they need to find a balance between pleasing the new players, but also pleasing the established fan base. And I still think that focusing too much on new releases of songs can be a shot in the foot. Not for Unlimited, because Unlimited is a service, is understandable, but for the main series, it can be more bad than good. So my overall score, that is the average score for the previous aspects, is 4 stars. Not a bad game, but it can be better. And because I didn't spend your time and enough, I have some suggestions for the next installments, because I think if you want to criticize anything, you also need to say why and how we can get better. And some of my suggestions for this next installments, if anyone from Ubisoft is watching this, and please, I hope you do. First of all, I feel like some old modes that could make players interact with each other could be back, like the challenge, and not even talk about a video challenge, because I imagine, there is a cost on server and stuff, but at least you're sending the score wins you had, the other players is trying to beat your score, it would be interesting. The team needs to find a new way to add a new mode, at least a new mode on Just Dance, maybe based on challenges that the community already does. Like for example, there are a lot of streamers that they do the blind challenge, like they blind themselves and try to dance to the routine, or try to dance the routine by memory without blinding themselves. So trying to bring making an official way to play it on the game would be interesting, or maybe add think on ways that it wouldn't change the core of playing Just Dance, like you follow the coaching stuff, but also add something, some layers of interactivity, or something new, or something that would make feel the game like you're playing something different. Of course, the experience stays the same, the gameplay still stay the same, but the way it happens can be sort of different. I know the programmers will hate me for saying this, but I think having a normal and hard mode for Just Dance would be interesting. And I'm even saying about hard and normal mode more in how you calculate this score than actually trying to reinvent the wheel. Because I feel like really right what I'm saying. Having an easier scoring for Just Dance will be a shit in the foot when world the Just Dance World Cup comes back. Right, what I'm saying. Right, what I'm saying. As I said before, making routines that most casual players can follow, but more skilled players will try to get the details on it, because I feel like that's it is the best way to try to balance between the players who are starting to play Just Dance, and the players who have been playing for centuries. I don't know, because for example, if you get a more skilled player, more experienced player, Just Dance 2016, for example, isn't that hard. But put someone who haven't played Just Dance to play Just Dance 2016, they will have some sort of hard time playing with it. I think it would be hard to balance this, but it will be worth it. Also, more interaction between with songs that have more than one player, and like duos, especially dance crews. I really want to see more face to face, more interaction, more people politely touching each other. Okay, don't have bad thoughts. I feel like the main directors, if I can put it that way, for the next installments in the Just Dance series, would be making the players see themselves and other players in the game, and they make people realize they are not playing alone. They are constantly playing with other people, and there are other Just Dance fans, maybe even closer than they can imagine, because I can say from personal experience, a lot of times we start getting the fan base and thinks that, we are the only ones playing Just Dance in my neighborhood or the places I live, and then suddenly you discover you're not alone, or you can introduce Just Dance to other people. Yeah, I really hope also this feedback, if anyone from Ubisoft is listening, it's interesting to listen and helps improve the game. And again, I'm not saying like, this is the general opinion from the Just Dance and other, but if you have thoughts, if you agree with me, if you disagree, can type in the comments below, because I really want to see your opinions. I really want to start this conversation, because I think the only way the game can improve is if we talk about it, and politely, of course, politely, without cursing anyone, without yelling at anyone's mother, please. But that is it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to thumbs up if you did, and see you next time. Don't forget to be nice to your mates. Bye.